Hey, this is Bob from Dogwatch Cigar Radio.
And this is Dale, and you're watching a video review on StogieReview.com.
Excellent.
That one sounded okay.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stogie Review video review. And as you may know already, my name is Walt White, and I am here twice this week. Just stepping in to fill in for Jerry this week. I'm sure he's really busy with the new baby, so just thought I'd jump right on in there and get you a second review this week. Hopefully you won't get really tired looking at my face just yet. So anyway, on to the cigar that we are going to be smoking tonight. And there's a little bit of a backstory to the cigar. And maybe I'll tell you that before I actually show you the cigar. A couple weeks ago, we got an email from a fellow named Frank Santos. He's the marketing director for Puros Indio Cigars. And Frank, told us that he liked our site, and that he would like us to be among the first people to smoke the Cuba Aliados Anniversary Edition cigar. And Frank was very kind. He sent all of us, Jerry, Brian, Justin, and I, all a 4-pack of these anniversary cigars to smoke. And unfortunately, we couldn't meet up together to get the review done. The idea was that we had 4 cigars each, and we were all going to smoke a different cigar. And we were going to do this big group review, and it sounded great, but it seemed like something came up for everyone. For those 2 weeks in a row, we just couldn't get the job done. So we decided to scrap that idea because it's been delayed too long as it is. We just decided to do individual reviews. My review is today. Justin's review will be on Wednesday, and he will be smoking the natural. I'm smoking the Maduro tonight. And without any further ado, we have the Cuba Aliados Anniversary Edition. And since I'm going first, I decided to pick the neatest looking shape, and this is the Diadema number 3. And I'm filling out my cigar live sheet. I'm filling out my Stogie Review Modified ICRS sheet. And so far, just basic information. Company brand, Cuba Aliados, Puros Indios, Vitolas, a Diadema number 3. Country of origin is Danlí, Honduras. The wrapper, I think, is the Ecuadorian Sumatra. There's also a Nicaraguan Corojo. I think the Maduro is the Ecuadorian Sumatra. If I picked the wrong one, Frank, please help me out here. The binder and filler information I do not have. Other cigar information I have is limited production. Ring size is a 58. Length is 5 inches. Again, the shape is a Diadema. The price point on this, the MSRP of this particular cigar is $12. And actually, I'm going to read you the press report from Puros Indios, and I'll also give you the MSRP of the other cigars. Number purchased, got 4 that were given to me by the marketing director, Frank Santos again. And when and where smoked. They'll be home on July 26th at 6:15 p.m. And I haven't filled out any of the pre-smoke information because I thought I'd do that with you, and then take a break and fill out the sheet. And that brings me along to the press release from Frank from Puros Indio Cigars, and I'll just go ahead and read it to you. Hopefully I don't butcher it too much. I never did like reading out loud. But this is coming out of Miami, Florida, July 2nd, 2007. It says, Puros Indio Cigars is proud to announce the new Cuba Aliados Anniversary Cigar. The Anniversary, aged 6 years, is a limited production cigar offered in 4 all-new attractive sizes. The Power, which is a 56 by 6.5, a Diadema number 3, which is a 58 by 5, a Magico, which is a 58 by 6, and the Short, which is a 58 by 4. The Diadema and Short are unique sizes which have always come to represent Cuban master blender Rolando Reyes Sr. and his 60 years of experience in the tobacco industry. The first 2 formats are packaged in 10 cigars per box, and the last 2, 20 cigars per box. Suggested retail prices range from $8 for the Short, $11 for the Magico, $12 for the Diadema number 3, and $13 for the Power. Total production of both varieties is estimated to fall between 200 and 300,000 cigars, depending on the yield. Now, a little more information. This goes on to provide a little more information about the company and and the reason why the cigar came about, which reads, "The anniversary, which will be offered to select tobacconists, is a unique blend created by Reyes Sr. to honor and celebrate the over 100-year tradition of the brand name Aliados. Originated in Cuba in the 19th century. The new blend will also celebrate the 83rd birthday of Don Rolando. Grandson and Vice President Carlos Diaz says the unique blend is a culmination of my grandfather's many years of hard work, inspiration, and cigar blending experience. Anniversary is a tribute to Rolando Reyes Sr. and adds to his prestige in the worldwide cigar community. Marketing Director Frank Santos adds, Don Rolando is still going strong after all these years. This blend is a testament to his lifelong passion for tobacco. The exclusive anniversary is a proprietary blend and is available in two wrappers, the Nicaraguan Corojo and Ecuadorian Sumatra. All tobacco in the anniversary cigar blend is aged for at least 6 years. Rolando Reyes Sr. has been called the world's most talented cigar maker. Well into his 7th decade of cigar making, he continues to use the magic of his gifted hands to create the world's most unique sizes and blends. For more information on the latest news, visit purosindiocigars.com. And that, word for word, is the press release that I got from Frank. So, without any further ado, this is going to be another 30-minute video. I can see already. It's probably 5 minutes in, and haven't even lit the cigar yet. But we'll get to that. Characteristics of the cigar: you can see that it's got a nipple on it. It's a perfecto shape, so it's got a nipple on the end, a torpedo shape. It's a very aesthetically pleasing looking cigar as far as the shape is concerned. It's got a nice, attractive aroma to it. It's about medium. It's nice. It's not over the top aromatic, but it does smell very nice. I just have a thing for those little nipples on the end. They're just they're an oddity to see on cigars, and it's very nice to see one and actually get to smoke one on occasion. The cigar itself, I've got a little bit of a patch on one side. That happens from cigar to cigar. There's really nothing you can do about it. There's some medium-sized veins. It's it looks like your run-of-the-mill Purist Indio cigar. The wrapper is a little rough and tumbled looking, but the construction looks to be pretty decent. And actually, the cap that makes up the foot of the cigar looks like it's a triple cap, which is nice to see. But, the cigars is fairly firm. I can feel there's a little bit of softness up towards the head of the cigar. It's probably due to a little underfilling to get that shape, but it's totally acceptable. When you've got such a strange shape going on. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and cut my cigar. In which case, I always like to use guillotine cutters on the torpedo shape or the tapered heads. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my polio cutter. It's got like a sweet and salty flavor pre-light, and the draw is nice and stiff. And obviously, the reason being that stiff draw would be that very tight little end, which is going to burn away, and I'm sure the draw is going to open right up on it. So, the flavor is unique. It's interesting. I'm really interested to see how this thing is going to go. And when you place your tongue on the wrapper or on the cut end of the cigar, as the ICRS sheet suggests, you get very, very little tingling on the tip of the tongue. I'm not getting much flavor out of it, but that's a start. I'm going to take a quick break, jot down some notes on my sheet, and I'll be right back to light the cigar, and we will get underway. Well, welcome back, folks. I'm all ready to light my cigar. I just finished jotting down my notes, and so here we go. That's right, I threw you a curveball today, using a match. it's amazing how that little tip works. I mean, the initial draw was really firm, and then the burn kind of eased up into that taper, and then all of a sudden it just got much easier. Now, I'm still into that tip, but it seems as though it's really going to smooth out, and the draw is going to be really nice for me. So far, the initial flavor is it seems to be woody. It's about medium bodied. It seems very smooth so far, and everything's going pretty well. I mean, I've got a decent draw already. It's producing a good volume of smoke, and there's not much to say. Everything is going well at this point. So, with that in mind, now that my cigar is actually lit, I'm going to smoke a little bit, and I will be back in just a second, and we'll go over the first third of the cigar. Welcome back, folks. I'm working my way into the first third of the cigar, and had a little bit of a scare right in the beginning. Shortly after I turned the camera off, I was getting a little bit of a runner on one side, and I think it was the result of just an odd little thing that happened because of the cap on the end. I think it had just a weird little effect on the cigar. After maybe a half dozen puffs, it stopped and evened out, pretty well. I mean, I still had a little bit of it on the backside of the cigar, as you can see, but it really corrected itself quite nicely compared to what it was. So, it's very nice to see a cigar be able to bounce back like that without me needing to do anything special to it. The ash is nice and firm, hasn't fallen off yet. As you can see, I still have that little nipple on the end from the Perfecto shape, and it's a little flaky, but it's light in color. Again, it seems to be fairly firm. It hasn't fallen anywhere. The base flavor it's like a combination of like woody flavors and leathery flavors. It's really not bad. It's quite nice. The finish is very mild, very slightly dry, but it's smooth on the palate. It tends to linger for a few minutes. It leaves you with that thick feel on the tongue, on the roof of your mouth, and so far it's quite nice. It's producing a good volume of smoke. The draw is decent. It's a little free, but it's good nonetheless. It's producing a lot of good smoke. The resting smoke's about average. It's the burn rate's been decent. I've been at the cigar for about 45 minutes now, and I'm still plugging away at it. So, and I'm still in the first third. So that's always a good sign. And as I'm smoking, I'm really looking at the cigar, and it's quite nice. I mean, it's got like it's got sort of like a rustic look to it, like I don't know, like if I were to think back to what an authentic old time Cuban cigar looked like, I think that this would be it. I mean, it's got sort of just a little bit of a rustic appearance to it, but it's very attractive, and the shape just is outstanding. And, I was really impressed by the shape, which is why I grabbed it. And I had to make sure I reviewed it first because I just couldn't let that one sit in the cooler and not smoke it, being that it was probably the most interesting shaped cigar I had from the Cuba Aliados anniversaries that I was sent. But so far we're doing real well. I'm plugging along, filling out my ICRS sheet, and it's going well. There's not a whole lot to talk about at this point, so I'm going to take a quick break and smoke a little bit more of my cigar, and I will be back for the second third. So, be back in just a second. Welcome back, folks. As you can see, I'm well, working my way into the second third of my Cuba Aliados anniversary cigar, and I'm really happy with it. I mean, and the reason I'm really happy with it is because of the shape, and I don't mean aesthetically the shape. I mean just the way the shape typically works with this type of cigar. You've got this small, tight little end that delivers a certain flavor, and as it gets fatter and the ring gauge gets bigger, the depth and just the characters, just all the characters in the cigar start to slowly build, and then they really come out, and the cigar just becomes really complex and really enjoyable. And then it starts to plateau, which I've hit now, where the ring gauge is pretty much a consistent size. Now it's beginning to taper, and those deep, rich kind of flavors now they're starting to become a little more refined and almost easier to start pinpointing, because the ring gauge is starting to taper back down. The flavors are becoming a little more defined, I guess. I mean, it's just really nice, and this is one of the biggest reasons I like this shape of cigar. It's just because of the way the flavors just kind of come on and fade off and develop, and they just do all these different things that you don't typically get in a cigar that's straight on through, a 56 ring gauge or a 48 ring gauge. When you've got some fluctuations going in the ring gauge, there's definitely some character changes in the cigar that are very noticeable and very enjoyable. At least in this case, I'm really enjoying the character changes. And I mean, the base flavor is pretty consistent. I mean, to me, it's like a woody flavor and a leathery flavor. There's a little bit of a salty component in there, but it just seemed to get deeper and richer with every puff. It's really hard to explain. They just seem to develop so much more character as the ring gauge begins to fluctuate, and I'm really enjoying that about this cigar. And because of that big ring gauge in the center, the finish and the body, they're about medium. They're smooth. They're easy on the palate, but still very thick. The smoke is nice and cool. It's the resting smoke. It picks up after you take a puff. You can see that in the camera, I'm sure. And that's typical of any cigar. But I really can't smell it in the room. So either I've got really good ventilation going today, or just the aromas the cigars is putting out is very mild and not offensive. So I'm really digging it at this point. It's really developed quite a bit from the start. I mean, it just seems to be much more complex at this point than it was in the beginning, and I was liking it a lot. So. Well, that about really covers the second third of the cigar. Before I get out of here and take another quick break, I just want to mention and remind you again that we are going to have a contest coming up for the Stinky Cigar Ashtray, the big Monster Herf edition. And for those of you who missed it in the other review where I mentioned what we're going to be doing, we're going to be the entry is going to be based on Herf photos. So dig out your pictures, scan your 4x6 prints, whatever you got to do. Pull them off your digital camera of you and your buddy smoking cigars and having a good time. Keep them family friendly, and send them to to us. Jerry at StogiReview.com, Walt at StogiReview.com, Justin at StogiReview.com, and Brian at StogiReview.com. Send it to any one of us. We will forward it to one another, I am sure. So all of us will get to see them. When we get this collection of photos in, we're all going to sit down and pick a winner. And if we can't decide on a winner, the ones we think are the best, well, we'll just jot your names down, throw them in a hat, and we'll randomly pull a winner. And that's how we're going to do it this time. There is no start date decided just yet. I know that it is going to be coming up very soon. We're going to be wrapping up the logo contest as soon as I can get in touch with Jerry and iron out the last bit of details. We're going to go from there. And I know for sure that there were 2 entries that were not published and my apologies for that. So I will contact you two personally and I'm going to send you out a 5-pack of cigars, just as an apology for the mishap there. So I will get in touch with you, or if you see this video and don't happen to see an email from me, get in touch with me and verify it's actually you, and I'll get your mailing address and I'll ship you out a 5 or something. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. I'll just send you a couple cigars for the trouble. Again, my apologies. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to take another quick break, and I will be back in just a sec. We'll go over the final third, wrap up the cigar, and I'll let you be on your way. So see you in a sec. Welcome back, folks. And as you can see, I'm getting pretty short on my Cuba Aliados anniversary cigar, and so far I'm really enjoying it. There's been a little bit of a shift. Once I passed that plateau point and the cigar began to taper, I found myself needing to really pace myself. I had to slow down quite a bit, and the reason being is the cigar feels like it might be just a little bit underfilled at this portion, just because of this steep taper. And naturally, there's more room for air in there, and the cigar's getting to be a little hot on the fingers, hot on the lips. But it's nothing that slowing down hasn't corrected. So it's not a big deal. You just need to remember to slow down a little bit when you get past that big portion of ring gauge. It's still producing a lot of smoke, and it's still very thick on the palate. At this point, the finish seems to be getting a little more dry, and it's actually making me feel a little parched. It's as I'm sure most of you know already, if you've watched these videos, is that's a characteristic that I really do not find enjoyable in cigars, and it really shows up early for me, and it's just something that I pick out because I know I don't like it. However, it's not extreme. It's not so much that I put the cigar down, and I know that I am sensitive to that type of characteristic in a cigar. So you might find it mild. You might find it to be a mild dryness, whereas I'm finding it a little more than that. But again, it's not so much that it's going to make me put down the cigar. The body is ramped up a little bit. It's medium to full. I'm getting more of like a peppery flavor now. The woodsy flavor is becoming the dominant flavor. I'm really not picking up any of those leathery tones anymore. And at this point, the combination of the fuller body, the more upfront woody flavor, and the slightly dry finish, it's not a bad smoke, but I really preferred that thick portion of the cigar so much better. If I could smoke just the fat part of the ring gauge on these cigars, I definitely would. I found it that appealing. But it's not to say that this portion of the cigar is bad. It's just that I really like that other section much better. And you can really get that peppery sensation when you pass the smoke through your sinuses. Again, it's the smoke is very thick. It's easy to get through your sinuses. It's easy to play with. When you blow it out, you'll have a big mass cloud of smoke floating through the room. Fortunately for me, I've got an exhaust fan, so that big thick cloud is kind of going out of the room. But it's the type of smoke that I look for in a cigar. It's thick. It's easy to play with. It's flavorful. It's just nice overall. And the ash has been. It's been pretty solid. I mean, I've only ashed it twice. Once in the ashtray, and once I burnt a hole in my pants. But that happens on occasion. I let it get a little too long, and I started moving around a little bit, and it dropped on my lap, and I paid for it. But again, the ash is nice and firm. Now that I've gotten past that big ring gauge section, the ash isn't really flaky anymore. It's pretty solid, compacted. And it really plops in the ashtray when it falls. So it's nice and firm. And actually, I could probably pick the pieces out of the ashtray as a whole, and and not break them by picking them up. So that's always a plus. And it goes without saying, but the draw's been nice too. I mean, it's free, and again, it's producing lots of smoke. And the burn time is nice on this cigar. I mean, It's 8:02. I started at 6:15, so you do the math. I've been at this for a little while now, and overall, I think it was a decent cigar. I mean, for limited production, it's only going to be available at specific tobacconists or just select tobacconists, I should say. $12 doesn't seem too bad. However, if these were being released to more tobacconists, I really wouldn't want to pay that $12. I mean, that's out of my comfort zone as it is. It's not a price that I like paying for any cigar. I mean, it's like pulling teeth when I go out and I buy the Patron 1926s and the 64s, because they're up in that $12 price range, and I love those cigars. So it's not necessarily that I don't like the cigar. It's just it's a price thing. That's probably why I wouldn't go running out for another one tomorrow. Fortunately, I have 3 more to enjoy, thanks to Frank. So again, big thanks, Frank. I really appreciate it. But if you like Puro Indio cigars, Cuba Aliados cigars, I really do not think you will be disappointed with this cigar. I think it will probably be your favorite of the line. I've certainly enjoyed it the most of all the other Cuba Aliados and Puro Indio cigars that I've had in the past. And I look forward to smoking those other 3. I think it was a nice cigar. I'm not sure when these are going to be released. Probably right after RTDA, if not, during RTDA. But most likely, you might be able to get some samples at RTDA. They'll probably be released after RTDA, but I'll let Frank confirm that for you. But that about does it for the Cuba Aliados anniversary. Again, I really enjoyed it. So I look forward to smoking the others, and that about does it. So I'm gonna let you get back to whatever it was that you were doing. And just before I let you go, I want to thank you again for watching the videos, for taking time to leave comments, questions, sending in emails, all that sort of stuff. It's really humbling to get such a large volume of email and comments. It's very nice to see feedback from the viewers, so please continue to do so. We really appreciate it. And that about wraps it up. So happy smoking.